Hello and welcome to this week's video. Today, as seen by the title of the video, we are painting my bookshelf, and I've actually done a little designing beforehand of what I want it to look like, and I've done some thumbnail sketches. It's actually a little bit more than a sketch because I did some pen line art over it just so I could see the different shades, because it kind of got messy because I had so much planned. But I put in what I wanted to incorporate. Here is the design. And I was able to incorporate everything I wanted to. Dragons, castle, Van Gogh, fairies, mushrooms, books, Taylor Swift. And so the big piece is the dragon. And all of this is coming out of the book at the bottom. And there's mushrooms spouting. And then Van Gogh in the background. And the castle as well behind the dragon. And over everything it says Taylor Swift lyrics of Long Story Short, I Survived. That's actually one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. It's on Evermore. But my favorite album is Folklore, so don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorite songs, but it's not my favorite album. My favorite Taylor Swift song of all time, though, is The Archer, even though that's not my favorite album either. But okay, I'm getting off topic. So in this video, you'll be coming with me as I paint my bookshelf. First, let's get into a speed draw. I'm gonna sketch the sketch onto the bookshelf. So what you just saw, I'm gonna re-sketch it onto the bookshelf. So let's get to it.
My apologies for my voice not sounding up to its normal standard. I have COVID. I'm doing okay with Advil, but my voice still isn't good. But that's because I have underlying conditions, so it's going to take me a lot longer than the average person. Also, this first shot was very funny, and that's why I kept it in, because I thought I was genius for hanging my phone on a wireframe to get the perfect shot, and then I see that when I watch it back, and I'm like, oh, idiot, dumb, because I didn't check before that the wireframe was in the camera. But I fixed it, and using the wireframe was still good. It was still an amazing idea. I just needed to double check. Anyway, here's the first sketch of the dragon on the bookshelf. I did this just with regular pencil, so it doesn't show up much on the camera, but I see it, so that's what matters, because really this is just for me to have my guideline for painting, so I just know where to do the paint pen and have the right anatomy without having to do it in paint. And if I mess up, it will take longer to fix because I'll have to wait for the paint to dry, so pencil was helpful. And I did this all in Posca pen because I didn't want to get paint on my carpet, and that's really the full story. I could have moved the bookshelf, taken off all my books, and moved it downstairs where there's no carpet, but that was a lot of work, and long story short, I'm lazy. So I did this all with paint pens, and it worked surprisingly well in my favor. Able to stay up later and didn't have to worry about cleanup time, so I could easily put the paint pens away and not have to worry about my palette laying overnight and getting gross. And my brush is getting gross. I can just go back to it anytime. I love paint pens. Can't preach it enough.
I'm having a brain fart apparently. That's what's happening. It is 9:30. This is today's progress. I wanted to do more, but I got EP, so I'm gonna go to sleep now. But it's coming along nice. I like it. It's so far-ish. I'm trusting the process, okay? Because right now it's actually kind of giving Sims for kids furniture, but I think that's what most of my things give. But I hopefully once I add more background in, I feel like it will look more grown adult, YA, young adult fantasy novel, and less kid dragon. I don't know. I make kid illustrations, so this is probably where that's just my art style. So, this is it so far, but I'll see you tomorrow.
I don't recall how or why I started so late on painting this. I feel like I would have painted in the day, but I didn't. But I made up for it by painting really late into the night, as you can tell from the darkness in my windows, even though it is still technically winter. So you can see the darkness earlier. But time change has affected that a little bit. So it does get darker later. So I take that back. But I did stay up later than usual to paint this, and I got pretty far with it, and I made up for missing painting in the morning. Though I did still take a long time to complete this because I am a perfectionist and this is gonna be in my room. So, I want this to be perfect. And I started first thing next morning on it again. It was killing my neck to be hunched in that position. I definitely should have stood it up on something, but to be honest, I'm lazy again and just didn't want to lift it. But I don't know what would have been worse, the pain of lifting it or the pain from my neck. I don't know. I did what I did. It's too late to take it back. I definitely should have used black paint instead of Posca though for the dragon, because drawing that I feel like took a lot longer than it should have. Also, changing the topic, you can see my animals just nonstop bugging me, but it means they love me even though they're up in my grill, because that's just their love and they can't be left alone. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the dragon. It definitely would go faster if I painted. Actually, I'm not sure about that because I actually think that I would have had to use a lot more layers. So going back, I think Poscas were the best decision because I didn't have to layer on paint over paint because it's a weird surface and it's completely flat, and I would have had to sand it down first, and that would have made a whole mess. So in general, actually, Poscas were the best decision. Sorry I'm talking through this with you. I'm just like, actually, you know what? I was right, and I stand by that. I was glad I made a list of all the things I wanted to involve in the painting and made a sketch prior, which is the way I make all my paintings because I feel like it's best to brainstorm. I've learned that in all of my classes, to be honest, my art classes and my digital graphics class. It's always best to brainstorm first, and I was glad I did that and listed all the things I wanted to involve. Yeah, that was my cat. He's always there. He's always obsessed with me. He eats my hair. Anyway, I feel like there's so many parts of me in this painting, and I love that I was able to incorporate so many. Because if you know me at all, you know I'm obsessed with Van Gogh, and I literally made a presentation to my pain clinic goers about Van Gogh. And that was also one of the reasons I got diagnosed with autism because I talked nonstop about Van Gogh in the pain clinic. But they liked it, so it was okay. And I involve books because, of course, this is a bookshelf, and I obviously like books if I have two bookshelves. And I involved the Rapunzel castle because I often see myself as Rapunzel if I were a princess. And the dragon, of course, is my love of fantasy as well as the fairy. And the mushrooms are, I just love little fungi. I've been wanting to get a book about fungi so bad because I just think mushrooms are cute. What can I say? I should have involved other mushrooms actually now that I'm thinking about it instead of just one type. But those are the most iconic, so I feel like most people would recognize them and they're the easiest to draw if I'm being honest. And sorry I changed positions so much while painting. I literally can never ever sit still, even when I'm not painting. I need someone to constantly watch me though and be like, fix your posture. Because that actually did help when I was in physical therapy. Because I always sit weird or like sit with my feet up or like my foot behind my head or something. Yes, I do that. I sit really weird. I've had my mom like take pictures of me while I'm watching a show and she'll be like, how is she sitting like this? How is she comfy? And I would be like, I didn't even know I was sitting weird. So when I painting, I feel like it gets like 30 times worse because I'm like trying to crouch into the right position, and I just need someone to yell at me and be like, fix your posture while you're painting, so I don't permanently destroy my back and look like a shrimp. But I think we're far past that, unfortunately. I wanted to do like pink lettering. I did it in cursive because cursive is just fancier, and I want my bookshelf to be fancy. But the pink wasn't really showing up compared to like the darkness, so I had to fix that as well. I used the yellow for the cliff because I don't have gray Poscas really. That was where that was. And I the white mixed with the yellow kind of made it like a yellowish gray, and I felt like that went well with the cliffside. And I made the book golden just so it would look like an ancient text, ancient scriptures or something. And it was all coming out of the book, and it was a magical book. That was really what I was going for, and that's why the pages are yellow and not a normal white. Also, white is boring, so why would I keep it white? Though I take that back immediately as I add highlights to the cursive because it was pretty much impossible to read. So I was trying every color to make it readable. It still is kind of hard to read, and I don't stick with that color because the darkness of it still makes it impossible to read. So I do end up switching it to fully white. And I added some scales to the dragon, and I think that really helped the dragon pop out more. And I do think it was good fully black, but I like the details. And I think the details of the cliffside helped a lot because it was an unusual color, and I feel like the details made it look more cliffy. Is that a word? Realistic. Let's not call a cliff cliffy, unless you like it. A cliffy cliff. The lighting in this section, though, is terrible, and I apologize for that. I cannot control the sun.
Oh my goodness, it looks so good with the flash on. This is the final product. I don't really like that you can't read the words. Sorry that my voice is really hoarse because I have COVID, so it's not great. That's why this video is a little late. Just an FYI. But I love how it turned out, and I'm gonna Mod Podge it so it doesn't scrape off or anything, because it's definitely gonna scrape when rubbed on just because of the texture and stuff. So let's do a speed of that.
Let's not talk about how much the Mod Podge tinked me off. I said ticked, but it sounded like tinked, but whatever, same feeling. It ticked me off, okay? Because it was not drying, it was scraping, and I was so nervous that it would dry the wrong color, and I didn't have the brush big enough to get the whole thing, so I switched to a paint palette scraper thing, and then the paint kept scratching.
In a turn of events, the Mod Podge has caused a lot of chipping. You can't really tell from the camera, I don't think, but there's a lot more chipping than there was before. So I'm gonna have to touch it up, and I'm gonna use a different sealant, which will probably make my room smell really bad. So I will just have to deal, I guess, which is not good for my allergies, but 'tis the curse of being an artist. This is actually the first time I'm feeling a little bit okay after having COVID. Well, I still have it, and I'm still isolating, but I feel a little bit better. My voice still sounds like ugh, but my head doesn't feel like it's exploding anymore. So I did my makeup and I got dressed, trying to feel like myself again. Though I did have to open my windows during a snowstorm because I don't think, apparently, because I sprayed the sealant, so the project is done, but the sealant smells so flipping strong, and
my lungs are already bad because of COVID, and I also just don't have that strong of lungs in the first place. So yeah, who's dumb? I'm dumb. Anyway, time for the final product. Here it is. I should not be this close to it because the ceiling is still very smelly. And yeah, it's killing me. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments of the final product. I hope you like it. I hope you tell me that it's amazing and you're like, wow, she's so great. That was probably too much. Thank you so much for watching. If you like art content like this, please click subscribe and like for more, because I have a lot of things I could paint. I'm kind of like in my Rapunzel era. I never flipping leave the house because I'm chronically ill, and I also have COVID now, so I never really leave the house. So I'm in my Rapunzel era, so I just paint everything. So let me know what else I should paint, and like, comment, subscribe. I love hearing from you guys, and most importantly, remember everyone, stay weird. Bye.